Dunedin is the second largest city in the South Island of New Zealand, and the principal city of the Otago region. Its name comes from Dunedin, the Scottish Gaelic name for Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland, with a population of 126,255 at the 2018 New Zealand census. Dunedin is New Zealand's sixth most populous city. However, due to historic, cultural and geographic reasons, the city has long been considered one of New Zealand's four main centres. The urban area of Dunedin lies on the central eastern coast of Otago, surrounding the head of Otago Harbour, and the harbour and hills around Dunedin are the remnants of an extinct volcano. The city suburbs extend out into the surrounding valleys and hills, onto the isthmus of the Otago Peninsula, and along the shores of the Otago Harbour and the Pacific Ocean. Archaeological evidence points to lengthy occupation of the area by Maori prior to the arrival of Europeans. The province and region of Otago takes its name from the Nagai Tahu village of Otaku at the mouth of the harbour, which became a whaling station in the 1830s. In 1848, a Scottish settlement was established by the Lay Association of the Free Church of Scotland. And between 1855 and 1900, many thousands of Scots emigrated to the incorporated city. Dunedin's population and wealth boomed during the 1860s Central Otago Gold Rush, and for a brief period of time it became New Zealand's largest urban area. Today Dunedin has a diverse economy which includes manufacturing, publishing, tourism and technology-based industries. However, the mainstay of the city's economy remains centered around tertiary education, with students from the University of Otago, New Zealand's oldest university, and the Otago Polytechnic, accounting for a large proportion of the population. 21.6% of the city's population was aged between 15 and 24 at the 2006 census, compared to the New Zealand average of 14.2%. In 2014, Dunedin was designated as a UNESCO City of Literature. Archaeological evidence shows the first human. About 1650, there was a settlement in what is now central Dunedin and Hariawa to the north, and at Tairi Mouth and Otokia to the south, all inside the present boundaries of Dunedin. Maori tradition tells first of a people called Kahui Tipua living in the area. Then Te Rapuwai, semi-legendary but considered to be historical. The next arrivals were Waiter, followed by Katimamo late in the 16th century, and then Kaitahu who arrived in the mid-17th century. European accounts have often represented these successive influxes as invasions, but modern scholarship has cast doubt on that view. They were probably migrations, like those of the Europeans, which incidentally resulted in bloodshed. The Sila John Boltby recorded in the late 1820s that the Kaika Otago were the oldest and largest in the south. Lieutenant James Cook stood off what is now the coast of Dunedin between the 25th of February 1770 and 5 March 1770, naming Cape Saunders and Saddle Hill. He reported penguins and seals in the vicinity, which led Australian, American and British sealers to visit from the beginning of the 19th century. The early years of sealing saw a feud between sealers and local Maori from 1810 to 1823. The Sealers' War, sparked by an incident on Otago Harbour. William Tucker became the first European to settle in the area in 1815. Permanent European occupation dates from 1831, when the Weller brothers of New South Wales founded their whaling station at Otago on the Otago Harbour. Epidemics severely reduced the Maori population. By the late 1830s, the harbour had become an international whaling port. Wright and Richards started a whaling station at Curritain in 1837, and Sydney-born Johnny Jones established a farming settlement and a mission station at Waikoiti in 1840. The settlements at Curritain and Waikoiti have endured, making modern Dunedin one of the longest-standing European settled territories in New Zealand. Early in 1844, the Deborah, captained by Thomas Wing and carrying his wife Lucy and a representative of the New Zealand Company, Frederick Tuckett, sailed south from Nelson to determine the location of a planned free church settlement. After inspecting several areas around the eastern coast of the South Island, Tuckett selected the site which would become known as Dunedin, the lay association of the Free Church of Scotland, through a company called the Otago Association. Founded Dunedin at the head of Otago Harbour in 1848 as the principal town of its special settlement. The name, Dunedin, comes from Dunedin, the Scottish Gaelic name for Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland. Charles Kettle, the city's surveyor, instructed to emulate the characteristics of Edinburgh, produced a striking, romantic town planning design. There resulted both grand and quirky streets as the builders struggled and sometimes failed to construct his bold vision across the challenging landscape. Captain William Cargill, a weta,